So first things first, what exactly is the skin microbiome? It's simply the diverse flora of fungi, bacteria, and virus that actually just reside on your skin naturally.
Everyone's skin is incredibly unique. Your microbiome, some papers have alluded to, it's almost like a fingerprint. It's definitely, it's also dependent on area. So your armpit is very different than your face.
Exactly. But in terms of skincare, we're simply focusing on bacteria. I do want to read you something that PTR would like to add, and I think it's great, is that because everyone has a different makeup of these good and bad bacteria, it's important to design a skincare routine that keeps your skin barrier strong so your microbiome will not be compromised. And I think that's really the general outline of where we are today in skincare in terms of the microbiome. All right, question number 2. This is from @thebeautyandthegeekau. How can a skincare range based on microbiome science be used to treat everyone?
So super good question, especially since we just touched on how unique everyone's skin microbiome is. So this is a great question to address the differences between pre, pro, and post bacteria.
Yeah, so prebiotics are bacteria food ingredients like lactic acid and mannose. This can actually help promote healthy bacteria growth. Meanwhile, probiotic is actually the actual live bacteria. This is not something that you will actually commonly see in the industry as of yet, simply because, well, we just don't know how to manage live bacteria in a jar.
A lot of issues. We'll cover more of that later as well. So postbiotic bacteria is actually ingredients that are fragmented bacteria pieces, bacterial waste. You'll see these are the familiar ingredients really. It's the XYZ ferment, think bifida, lactobacillus ferment.
Lysates.
All the lysates. They are the ones that have a lot of data, clinical data on long-term barrier function improvement.
Yeah. So we actually see people benefiting from the pre and post ingredients here. So this is kind of the two categories that we'll focus on in this Q&A.
And also just to like kind of flush out a lot of what's positioned as probiotics on the market, it's a little bit misnamed. Most of what you see really is pre and post bacteria.
So that's actually gets into a good point about the microbiome. Oftentimes, especially in this industry, we often see the what before we actually truly understand the how. And that's actually the perfect case for the microbiome.
Right. So we know, and it has been shown that using topical postbiotics and prebiotics does improve your hydration and skin barrier over time. But what does that really do to everyone's specific bacterial balance? That we don't really know that.
Right. The mechanism is not quite clear. But we do want to emphasize that microbiome is truly an exciting category that we really it's on our radar all the time. And I do want to share something that Peter mentioned. We quote, the skin barrier and the microbiome act like a shield that protects your skin from external aggressions. Using skincare with nourishing ingredients that balance the skin can help all microbiomes. And I think that's really the core of microbiome care at this point, is to just simply maintain healthy skin. All right.
So our longtime friend Makeup and Medicine at Denmark asks, what is your perspective on the use of live bacteria in future skincare?
So right now, with technology as is, it's extremely difficult. We probably are not going to see this format in traditional skincare for a while, simply due to preserving it, storing it, and just simply regulatory.
I can't imagine the FDA really excited about this field at all.
So we should also mention that there are some really interesting tests that are being done clinically using live bacteria. So, I think it's just important to keep an open mind, follow up on this category, but expect most products right now to carry pre and post biotic ingredients.
Next question. Ed David asks, what about topical products that contain probiotics? Obviously, they are not alive due to processing, etc. And how can we know that what works and what doesn't?
You're right. They are not alive. And because of that, to be completely honest, the only way you'll really know at this point in time is a healthy glow and happy skin. And personally, I don't really love that answer, but that's really all the cues that we have at this point. It's just the nature of this field. We just haven't done enough clinicals and truly understand like how the microbiome and having these ingredients in our products, how does that link to true skin concerns? So those are the typical cues that you're going to look for when you use these kinds of products.
So in addition to your own skin cues, just to bounce off what Victoria said, definitely look for products that have done their own clinicals, showing that it works as a whole. So like you mentioned, most of the ingredients are dead bacteria, so they're not true probiotics, they're postbiotics, and they can very well, and there are quite a few ingredients out there that does have long-term clinical that supports it. It bolsters your skin barrier function and whatnot, but if the final product itself also have additional clinical, it's always a good sign.
And question 5, this is from @blueroseinwinter. I'm seeing fermented popping up in products lately. Are those living microorganisms such as yeast and bacteria?
No, they're not living creatures. We consider these postbiotic ingredients, and we definitely want to share what Peter said. Peter said that they don't formulate with living microorganisms. In fact, the fermented ingredients that they do use are high-grade cosmetic skincare actives, and they have been tested for their efficacy.
Woo! Exciting.
Next question, we have testaholic. Ooh, I love your username. How does one know that he has a skin microbiome issue in the first place? And how is such skincare that treat this issue to be regulated? Ooh,
yeah, this is a direct quote from PTR. When the microbiome is compromised, skin issues such as dryness and irritation can develop. Using skincare that works to improve and maintain a healthy skin barrier can improve compromised microbiomes. And that's true. Great.
Yeah. And just to add on to that, microbiome, it's your skin barrier there's many angles to it, right? You can improve it in many ways. And it's microbiome is one part of it, and you can definitely approach it holistically to help out not just your microbiome, just overall skin health.
Yep.
Next question. Skinthana asked, what are the effects of a product containing alcohol on the microbiome?
So we're just gonna take the straight answer from PTR. There are different types of alcohol that can be in skincare products. So ethyl alcohol, which is your denatured alcohol, can be drying to skin and disrupt the microbiome and skin barrier. Cetyl, sterol, and ceteryl, as well as lanolin alcohol, are known as fatty alcohols, and their effects on the skin are quite different from those of ethyl alcohol. I think we should also add here that in terms of ethyl alcohol, concentration does matter as well. So of course, at high levels, yes, you will observe the drying of skin and disrupting of the microbiome.
For more info, find us on Chemist Confessions.
All right, question 8. This is from @sarapariah. Is the skin's microbiome and pH levels linked?
Yes, so this is actually an area that kind of, I don't want to say kicked off, but it's been highly linked to skin microbiome research. There's a lot of studies out there that kind of link certain strains of bacteria on your face and what pH level is ideal for them. And we have found that high pH, think 7, 8, is not very beneficial for the good bacteria of your skin. So in consideration of this fact, if you feel like your skin barrier is compromised, for example, you might consider switching out your soap-based cleanser and just constantly keep your skin at a happy, low, slightly acidic pH. So our next question comes from @6A4A6A4A. Thank you for that username designed to troll me, apparently. But anyway, she asks, can I use a yogurt mask to improve my skin microbiome?
Yeah, so interestingly, we did find a study that actually used kefir to see if it can improve wound healing in rats. But outside of that, we really haven't seen any data that suggests that it would provide any sort of significant benefit to the skin. So there's going to be, we still recommend sticking to the pre and postbiotic ingredients out there before going to a yogurt mask. We should also mention that the strains often found in yogurt are actually quite different than the strains that are used in some of these skincare ingredients. So yeah, stick to the pre and post to help your skin's microbiome.
Yeah, and we would also like to share PTR's official stance on this.
Yeah.
They said that everyone should use treatments that have gone through safety testing.
And we couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right, and last question. This is from @la.em.es. Is it actually beneficial to apply creams with good bacteria on skin? Should they be applied sometime after exfoliants or acids?
So, as we mentioned, there are very few products out there that have live bacteria. So, assuming you're referring to the pre and postbiotic ingredients we talked about, then you don't really have to worry about it unless you're using a super aggressive treatment, which
Hopefully
if it's home use, then we wouldn't recommend that anyway.
Yeah, but otherwise, no need to fear. It should be fine.